It turns out that this sentence has already been shot by the movie. If I can't find you, I'll stand in the most conspicuous place and let you find me. The little boy doesn't know who his parents are, but he has an unparalleled musical talent. The first time he touches the guitar, he can play a wonderful music. The music score he wrote in class can be used by top bands as the finale of a concert. The little boy has only one pursuit. Okay. Because I need to play it to a lot of people. Lots and lots. Adults think it's because of his vanity. In fact, it's because the boy just wants to stand on the most dazzling stage and let his parents see him. The little boy's mother, Lyla, was originally a talented cellist. The first time they fell in love with a singer who sang on the street. They fell in love at first sight and spent the night together. But their love didn't get the support of their family. After Layla's father found out, he stopped her and didn't allow them to meet. Later, Lyla found out that she was pregnant. She wanted to secretly give birth to the baby and use the fact of inheritance to force her father to compromise, but a few months later, Longchi's stepfather was still found out by his father. He found something was wrong. After a fight, he rushed out sadly and unfortunately had a serious car accident. When he was pushed into the operating room, Lyla was in a trance under the light. She vaguely remembered that she still had a little life to protect in her belly. When she woke up, her father told her that the baby was not saved. Lyla believed this lie and decided not to see the poor boy again. But she didn't know that his father. Lyla was also in a trance and fell into deep pain and darkness. She gave up the bright stage and turned to be a family music teacher. She buried all her artistic talents and dreams into her heart. Maybe only by getting along with the children can she slowly heal her inner wound. And at this time, the poor boy Louis not only formed a band with his unique voice, but also became a popular lead singer. Every inversion note in his singing contains a deep longing for Lyla. Although he accepted the fact that he was separated from Lyla from the bottom of his heart, he still didn't expect the longing to be so painful. On this day, Layla's father was suddenly scared and was not notified that he told Lyla the truth that had been hidden for 10 years. Baby, he could have hurt you. He could have hurt you and I wasn't gonna let that happen. How can I be calm? How can I be calm? I've been calm for over 10 years. And look where it's gotten me. Lyla, your suit begins to bleed. After that, she had to go to the relevant department alone to ask for help. But when she took out the agreement that her father sent her child to the orphanage, the unknowing staff thought she was not a qualified mother. Why did she send her child away and now came to find her again? Then she sent Lyla off with the relevant regulations here. On the other hand, Louise has been looking for Lyla, but they don't know that the child who was forgotten by fate was also looking for them. She has many good families in the orphanage who want to adopt her, but none of them agree. The children in the orphanage all treat her like a weirdo because when she was 2.5 years old, she could hear sounds that others couldn't hear. Those hidden in the wind, in the air, even in the sunshine, Iwan can capture them and let these beautiful melodies echo in her head. But her friends isolated her and laughed at her, but Iwan always believed that this was a special talent given to her. Years, 2 months, and 15 days to find out that he's alive. The president saw a mother missing her child, so he began to help Lyla find information about the child. And at this time, Layla's attention turned to the search warning posted on the wall. It's like fate is guiding her. She slowly moved forward. When she saw those innocent eyes, her heart was suddenly emptied. At this time, the president also found a picture of Iwan. Lyla was very sure that this was her child. This undoubtedly confirmed the unspeakable bond between mother and son. But unfortunately, Iwan disappeared from the orphanage a few days ago, and at this time, Iwan was walking on the side of the city. She was suddenly attracted by the forest in front of her. There were all kinds of noise on the street, every beat of the square, and waved her hands freely with the rhythm. She turned these messy sounds into a strong, wild song. The music made her feel the happiness and passion she had never had. But at this time, her eyes were attracted by the little black girl singing by the roadside. She saw the other person singing a melodious melody out of her mouth. Iwan couldn't help but raise her hand. Wait, wait. Nobody touches this instrument with me. Rox is my girl. Then the little boy, Arthur, took her home. But what surprised her was that Iwan wouldn't leave and kept following her. What? I don't have a place to stay. Do I look like a real estate tycoon to you? How many presents you got? Nuggets? Shorts? Show me the money. Iwan had no choice but to take out the change from the fruit shop owner. Then she took Iwan to an abandoned music venue. It was actually a gathering place for prostitutes. The place was old and shabby, but the music was playing around. Every child had their own musical instrument. The one who took care of them was a local mixed race called Wallachian. Wallachians took away the small fee for prostitutes every day. Anyone who didn't meet her requirements would be severely punished. But after the Wallachians turned off the lights, Iwan was not affected by this cold environment at all. In the middle of the night, she came to the room of Wallachians. Arthur told her that all the things on Wallachians' fingers were musical instruments. After seeing this, she immediately ran to the attic. In front of her was the guitar she had been dreaming of. It permeated throughout the hall. Everyone was attracted by her strange performance. Wallachians praised Iwan as the musical wonder they had never seen in many years. So she gave all the knowledge she had learned in her life to Iwan. She also said that music can enrich people's emotions, bring joy, and also comfort the sadness and loneliness of the bottom of the heart. Only those who resonate with music can truly control its power. However, Wallachians only taught Iwan some simple playing skills. But Iwan learned to play the guitar very quickly, far more than all her other partners. As a result, when Wallachians took her to the square for the first time, she immediately won the unanimous praise of the passers-by. That day, Iwan named Iwan Auguste. Wallachians thought this name would definitely become a superstar in the future. This also meant that Iwan would bring her endless wealth. But Iwan didn't care about fame or money at all. She only hoped that she could rely on those silky clothes to find her parents who only appeared in her imagination. At the same time, Lyla decided to return to the stage. She thought that expanding her influence was the only hope to find her child. But fate always teased people. After Iwan disappeared, the dean called the police. And no matter what, she couldn't give her to the police. So she lied to Iwan that the police would take her back to the orphanage. The sound of the piano flowed out of her fingertips, like flowing water. It suddenly ignited Iwan's musical passion. Do you know your notes? I've never seen him like that before. See here, the enthusiastic little girl taught her the basic notes and then went to school. Iwan listened to the sound outside the window and then began to write her own songs. When the little girl came back, she was stunned by the scene in front of her. She had just started to play the piano in the morning, but now she has created music all over the house. Such a talent caught the little girl's attention. When she called the priest, Iwan was playing the song she wrote. The priest believed it was an angel coming. He felt he was responsible for showing her talent. So he sent Iwan to the most famous music school in the area. The teaching resources there were super good. Less than a month later, when other college students were still learning book knowledge, Iwan had already created a very complex fantasy song. Even the principal gave this student a very high rating. Iwan was immediately called to the teaching office. But Iwan thought the principal was going to criticize her for not listening to the class. I'm sorry, why are you 100? 1,000? Okay. Because I need to play it to a lot of people. Lots and lots. The adult may think she is vain, but Iwan felt that standing in the most conspicuous place would definitely be seen by her parents. So she devoted herself to her real name. After the music poster was posted, maybe fate finally stopped her cold steps. In addition to August, there was also the name of Lyla. Iwan is not only talented in music, but also has excellent leadership skills. She soon integrated the band into the band, and even taught everyone her common understanding of music. But just 2 days before the concert, Iwan was immersed in the world of music. Wallace suddenly appeared and pulled her back to reality. He lied that he was Iwan's father and wanted to take her away. Although Iwan was not happy, Wallace knew her real name and forced her. She was afraid that she would be sent back to the orphanage, afraid of losing her freedom and music. The fear made her dream collapse. The next day, she went to the park to sing. With a few coins, Iwan and Louise happened to meet. At this time, they didn't know who each other was. They talked a lot about music. Then they exchanged guitars and played together. The passionate tune just came out of their hearts. The graceful and taciturn tone also made Iwan have a deeper sense of music. But now, Iwan's heart seems to be trapped by an invisible chain. She can't change the situation in front of her. At this time, Wallace shouted from afar. He didn't want to be taken away by others. When Louise saw this situation, she had no choice but to say goodbye to Iwan. It was getting dark. The concert was about to start. Lyla came to the stage as a special guest. Although she has been away from the stage for 10 years, her music legend is still shining in the hearts of the audience. The cheers under the stage were as loud as the waves. The atmosphere was hot. The yearning that crossed time and space floated on the square with her love. The audience was immersed in the ocean of music. Iwan also deeply felt the emotion in it. So she took up the courage to resist Wallace and wanted to escape from the place that had been trapping her. Wallace hadn't reacted yet. Iwan had tried her best to run away. But she was so thin. How could she run away from Wallace's chase? Soon she was forced to a dead end. At the moment of 1,000 soldiers, Arthur appeared and beat Wallace to the ground. The show was coming to an end. The loud applause surrounded Lyla. She looked into the distance. That was a silent call to her son. But unfortunately, until the show was about to end, Iwan still didn't show up. The principal was preparing to explain the situation to the audience. At that moment, a little girl rushed over and shouted. The stage was lit up. Iwan stood alone in the middle of the stage. When the beat rang, she moved her baton skillfully. What everyone didn't expect was that her music style was like a variety of scenery. Sometimes it was as violent as a storm. It was like a horse galloping. Sometimes it was as gentle as a stream. It was like a thin. Not only moved the audience, but also the mother who was about to leave couldn't help but stop. On the other hand, when Louise finished her performance, she was attracted by the poster by the roadside. It was named after Auguste and Lyla. An inexplicable power rushed into her mind. She got out of the car and rushed to the concert. When she passed the crowd, a familiar figure seemed to hold her soul. She turned around and saw Lyla, who missed her day and night, in front of her. That familiar figure seemed to bring back the time and brought her back to the beautiful memories of the past. She slowly walked to Lyla and gently held her hand. The love that was cut off by time was finally reunited at this moment. Iwan on the stage also felt the presence of her parents. She turned around and looked at her parents. The 10 years of missing was responded at this moment. Iwan showed her long-lost smile. There was joy and relief in it. The 10 years of waiting finally led to a perfect ending. Iwan used her musical talent to make the yearning into music. She waited for a reunion on the most dazzling stage. She heard the music in the wind, in the sun, and in the crowd, not to become famous, but to let her parents who had never met see themselves through the melody. Lyla hid the cello for 10 years and spent her days in guilt and waiting. Louis sang the song of missing and thought that the fate was long gone. They were separated by years and lies, but they were still drawn by the same melody. It turned out that love will not be drowned by distance, and the yearning will eventually return. The concerns hidden in the notes, the expectations hidden in the bottom of the heart, and the beating hidden in the blood will eventually cross the sea of people and reunite the lost people. The most touching thing is not the talent, but someone is willing to shine for you. Someone is willing to follow the light and go round and round. Love will eventually bring each other back. Okay, the video is over. Thank you for your company. I wish you all the best. I am Lyla. Hope to see you in the next story.